Good evening and thank you for coming. According to the California Association of Highway Patrolmen Memorial website, on November 15, 1963, Roger Muellman and two of his accomplices robbed a bank in Sacramento, California. While they were escaping, they were stopped for speeding by CHP Officer Glenn Carlson. While Officer Carlson was writing the citation, Roger Muellman bounded from the car, armed with a 9mm pistol, fired 5 times, and killed the 33-year-old patrol officer instantly, leaving the officer's wife a widow and 3 children, one of which who turned 4 the very next day. Roger Muellman later bragged that the force of the shots threw Officer Carlson's body from the road. When I first decided I wanted to become a California Highway Patrol officer, the Lord impressed upon me that He's made the laws. Most of our laws are based off of His laws, and He's the one who's given those to enforce those laws. So I applied, was hired, was trained, and spent 5 years as a California Highway Patrol officer. The California Highway Patrol's main mission is to ensure your safety, prevent loss of life, loss of injury, and loss of property. A lot of this hiring process goes through your studying, examinations, you're being investigated, your background, to make sure you possess certain qualities and values, characteristics, traits that the CHP is looking for. And then you will be given a position at the CHP Academy. Former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best when he said, "This begins with recruiting the best and the brightest in order to keep our state safe and secure." The reason he wants to hire the best and the brightest is those 4 men you see in suits are all CHP officers. So one of the reasons why it is so difficult to pass the background is because CHP officers are also dignitary protection officers in the state of California. So they need to know that they can trust you. The first thing you need to do if you want to become a CHP officer is take a written examination. This examination takes approximately 3 hours, and you have to score a minimum of 90%. Now, only a high school diploma is required to apply, but without at least 2 years of college, the CHP will not even consider you for hire, and they prefer that you have a 4-year college degree. The reason is that strict standards and the amount of studying you have to do at the academy. It's 6.5 months, and you live there 24/7. So if you score a 90%, you continue to the next stage. You are seen by a doctor who does a medical physical. They do a physical training exam to test your strength, cardiovascular strength, and endurance. They do a psychological evaluation by a state-certified psychologist, and they begin a background investigation. The background investigation normally takes 6 months to a 1.5 years. Mine took a year. They will question your friends, your family, your coworkers, your supervisors, everyone who knows you, all the way back to high school. They will contact your high school teachers and talk with them and find out what kind of person you were as a teenager. If you lie at any time, the whole process immediately ends. So you absolutely cannot lie. Once you are hired, you will be given a letter of intent to hire from the CHP, where you will become a cadet at the California Highway Patrol Academy. This is a 26-week live-in academy. You will be taught how to drive the latest and greatest patrol cars. That's not really a patrol car, but I love that picture. The CHP does that with cars every year. You'll learn accident investigation, firearms training, arrest techniques. You spend literally 10 hours a day in the classroom studying every law that California has come up with. And the CHP, you become an expert in determining if someone is driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Most police officers and sheriff's deputies receive approximately 40 hours of training. CHP officers receive at least 140 hours of training just at the academy. So literally we are the experts on DUI and accident investigation. If you successfully complete the academy, you will get appointed as a CHP officer. Being a CHP officer, you're awarded this badge. This badge has 7 points. Each point represents a value based on what is important to the CHP. Character, integrity, knowledge, judgment, honor, loyalty, and courtesy. All of these values are based off of what God values. Once you finish, there's a great sense of esprit de corps in the CHP because you are entrusted by the state of California to become a person who protects them. Remember the story I told you about Roger? Well, Roger Mealman was sentenced to die. While Roger was in prison, he met Jesus. Jesus told Roger, someday I'm going to get you out of this prison. Jesus did. Several years ago, I met Roger Mealman in Washington at a Bible study. Roger knew I was a retired CHP officer, and I could tell looking at Roger that he was an ex-con. It's just something you learn to pick up on. So Roger was terrified that I would hate him if I knew what he had done. One night after Bible study, I went outside and I talked with Roger. And Roger shared with me the story of his crime and his sentence. And how, go back one please, how he was responsible for cleaning this gas chamber every week, knowing he was the next one sentenced to die in this gas chamber. Part of me was angry with Roger because he had killed one of my brothers in arms. But my heart literally ached because I could see the pain in his eyes and hear the pain in his voice. As he was speaking, I heard the Lord tell me, tell him we forgive you. I knew we didn't mean God and I, because God had already forgiven me. But God was empowering me to speak collectively for the CHP and tell Roger, we forgive you. So I did. I told Roger, we forgive you. Roger instinctively knew what I meant. Peace just flooded over his face and his eyes. We embraced, we were in tears. We were both in awe of the wonder of God's love and forgiveness. I share my story of Roger as an experience of how this career can be used as a platform to demonstrate what God loves, what God values. Thank you very much for your time.